Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another. Oh, wait, I always, I want to say that because that's usually morning time, but you know what? Whatever time it is, I hope you're having a great day. And it's always a good time and a good day for getting into God's Word and getting that daily dose of the Bible. And that's what you're watching right now. So, this is Genesis 15. Abram has just rescued Lot from, Lot was taken captive when he was, shortly after they split up. Lot and Abram's flocks had grown too big, and so they decided to split up, and Lot chose the side over on the east of the Jordan Valley with lush green, and it was very close to Sodom. So that's what we know about. He was, there was a big war, and Lot's wife and possessions and all of his, slaves and family and cattle were all taken, and Abram went and got them back. So now is chapter 15, starts with the Lord's covenant promise to Abram. Sometime later the Lord spoke to Abram in a vision and said to him, "Do not be afraid, for I will protect you, and your reward will be great." But Abram replied, "O sovereign Lord, what good are all your blessings, when I don't even have a son? Since you gave me no children, Eliezer of Damascus, a servant in my household, will inherit all my wealth. You've given me no descendants of my own, so one of my servants will be my heir." Then the Lord said to him, "No, your servant will not be your heir, for you will have a son of your own, who will be your heir." When the Lord took Abram outside and said to him, "Look up into the sky and count the stars if you can. That's how many descendants you will have." And Abram believed the Lord, and the Lord counted him as righteous because of his faith. The Lord told him, "I am the Lord who brought you out of Ur of the Chaldeans to give you this land as your possession." But Abram replied, "O sovereign Lord, how can I be sure that I will actually possess it?" The Lord told him, "Bring me a 3-year-old heifer, a 3-year-old female goat, a 3-year-old ram, a turtle dove, and a young pigeon." So Abram presented all these to him and killed them. He cut each animal down the middle and laid the halves side by side. He did not, however, cut the birds in half. Some vultures swooped down to eat the carcasses, but Abram chased them away. As the sun was going down, Abram fell into a deep sleep. A terrifying darkness came over him. The Lord said to him, "You can be sure that your descendants will be strangers in a foreign land, where they will be oppressed as slaves for 400 years. But I will punish the nations that enslave them, and in the end they will come away with great wealth. As for you, you will die in peace and be buried at a ripe old age. After 4 generations, your descendants will return to this land, for the sins of the Amorites do not yet warrant their destruction." After the sun went down and darkness fell, Abram saw a smoking fire pot, and a flaming torch passed between the 2 halves of the carcasses. So the Lord made a covenant with Abram that day and said, "I have given this land to your descendants, all the way from the border of Egypt to the great Euphrates River. The land now occupied by the Kenites, Kenizzites, Cadmonites, Hittites, Perizzites, Raphaites, Amorites, Canaanites, Girgashites, and Jebusites." And that's chapter 15. So, this chapter is about Abram's faith, and God keeping his promises. And in the beginning here, he's, setting up a covenant with Abram. He's saying, in the future, you will have a son. He's not, it's not like, well, your wife's pregnant right now. So he's building Abram's faith. And I always feel like, these stories in the Old Testament when, Abram was not a modern day human being, so he didn't have the same understandings of the world and all of these things. And I just feel like in the early days of God's interaction with people, he gave us a lot of really great stories of faith building, and shows us how he makes promises and then carries them through. After 4 generations, your descendants will return here. That's, that's a while. That's like 100 years, 120 years. So, he knows that it's not a promise to him, it's a promise to his future family that he doesn't even have yet. But he trusts that the Lord will keep his oath. And God has shown Abram a sign with the fire pot and the flaming torch passing between the carcasses. And the dream that he had of being sure that your ancestors will be strangers in a strange land. This interaction between God and Abram here gave Abram great strength in his faith. He was given a sign, and he was given a promise, and that's what he has to go on. That's sometimes we don't even have a sign, but we always have the promises that God has in his word for us. But we might not even have that sign, but God does keep his promises, and he will tell you and show you the way. Maybe not as clearly as he showed Abram. Maybe you have to dig into the Bible. Maybe you have to pray for a while to sort things out. But God definitely has a place and a path for you wherever you are right now. It's there's a clear, beautiful path right up to him. All you really have to do is turn around. I just pray that you take this promise that the Lord made to Abram, and you take it as proof of faith. Stand on those promises that he brought true for Abram through the Israelites, through his wonderful son Isaac, who was born so much later in life than he ever imagined, and through all the wonderful things that Abram did through his life as he grew closer and closer to God. And that's what, that's our goal in life. So that's where we should try to be. And I just pray that this will bless you, and take it into your heart, make it your own, stand on it like the solid ground that you stand on, because this is much more important.